Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Final Fantasy. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. We got the Great Delivery Moogle Uncommon. Big fan of this card. Tutors out any of your little artifacts when it enters the battlefield, so it's a 2-for-1 plus an evasive flyer at the same time. Great card. It can find Magitech infantry. If we're really lucky, this card could wheel. It doesn't tend to happen too often though, because this is one of White's better commons. It's very good in multiples. But the other way that the Delivery Moogle works is to grab one of the job select equipment at 2 or less mana. Those also count as creatures because they come with a creature token, like Dark Knight's Greatsword here is an example of a job select card, although that's a 3 mana one, so not a direct synergy with the Moogle. Anyways, happy to start with Moogle here, but there's other great cards. The card collection, the Revelation, the Suplex, Ice Magic, Infantry. Very good pack overall. But Delivery Moogle, I think, is the strongest of all those. Now for pick 2, we have really efficient removal with Sleep Magic. We also have the very impressively statted Samurai's Katana. 3 mana for a 3/3 Trample Haste. Very solid stat line, and you can move the equipment around in the late game. This makes it pretty hard for your opponent to ever feel safe and fully stabilized, because any creature you top deck, if you're late in the game and you have like 8 lands out at that point, you could play like a 3-drop creature and boom, trample haste it up and jam for damage. So Samurai's Katana does play really well. This is another very strong pack though, because there's also Vanille, particularly good in the slower, grindier decks like green-blue and green-black, but a good enough value play to still be reasonable for like green-white here. Rufus Shinra we used in our last deck to great success. Our black-white build there. Or we could just stick to white, take a mediocre removal spell like Fate of Suncrest, just a bit more expensive than some of the premium removal in the set like Sleep Magic and Suplex and stuff. I'm going to go for the Samurai's Katana here. I think that's a super strong card for the Boros equipment deck. It doesn't directly synergize with Delivery Moogle because it costs too much mana to tutor up, but Boros is a really good color pair for the Delivery Moogle with the other cards you can find for it. Pick number 3 now. Vaughn, Aspiring Sky Pirate. The Captain Lannery Storm is quite reasonable. It can also protect something with Restoration Magic, or there is a Paladin's Arms to go ahead and get some more equipment into the deck here. You know, having 2 nice hasty threats in red in a row could be a pretty good start towards red over white as the main color for now. I'm actually going to go Captain Lannery here. Get some treasure tokens I can upsplash around. I can get a bunch of damage in. We can just haste in for a bunch. Lannery could be pretty good. And then if white gets cut, then maybe we play some other red-based deck like Rakdos or red-green or something. Pick 4 now. Warrior Sword is a reasonable red card. Plays particularly well in red-white and red-blue. If you care about equipment or you care about non-creature spells, that's where that card shines. Other than that, it's just reasonable filler. We could take Corner by Black Mages. That's a bit better than reasonable filler for its respective strategies. But we'd obviously have to move into a third color for now. There's also Rydia as well as one of the stronger off-color cards. So Cornered by Black Mage is Rydia, or just like the Warrior Sword here. I do like Rakdos better than I like Gruul in this format. Red-black better than red-green. And Cornered by Black Mage is pretty good for the red-black decks. You can run a decent amount of job select creatures and a lot of non-creature spells just in general. The job select creatures, of course, being equipment spells, so they all trigger your mages. Play a bunch of removal spells because you have all the red burn and all the black removal. You can get a lot of ping damage off of the black mage tokens, so it's one of the better spots for Cornered by Black Mages. And here, pick 5, we get a great black removal spell again with Vane's Treachery. Maybe some Rakdos aggro stuff here. Dreams of Laguna is another excellent card in this pack, and then a pretty big drop off from there. The next best is likely Final Days for some kind of Golgari mill. But we're grabbing Vane's Treachery. Pick number 6, Undercity Dairat. Very solid filler 2-mana creature. One of my favorite 2-drop commons. Pretty happy to take that, but there's still some really good blue in the pack. Combat Tutorial and Quistis here. So Dreams of Laguna in the last package, now Tutorial and Quistis does make me want to keep blue in mind. Are these enough better than the rat to take over it here? It could be for like Quistis, but I'll lock in here. We'll grab Dire Rat. Pick 7, Jesus. Eject is still in here as the best card in the pack. Yeah, the best card in the last several packs has been blue. Now Barrett is quite mediocre. Laughing Mad, quite mediocre. Now we're very free to speculate. because we have pretty much a 99% chance of cutting either of the red cards, even if we end up in red. Pick 8, Stuck on Summoner Sanctum or Namazu Trader. Both are actually pretty mid this time around. I'm not excited about either. Stuck in Summoner Sanctum does not work well with Cornered by Black Mages, so this would be like a speculative card towards exactly blue-red. If we pivoted towards blue-black, we would not want to run an enchantment-based removal spell and an edict removal spell that makes them sack a creature in the same deck, so I'll just take the Trader here. Resentful Revelation, pick 9 is beautiful, nice and late. Even Ice Magic here is pretty late. We'll take the Resentful Revelation. Another copy, pick 10. Black looks like a great color to be in here. Even if it is somewhat contested by other drafters, those other drafters don't respect Resentful Revelation, which means we will at least get excellent card draw. Rook Turret or World Map? I guess I'll actually go World Map here. I don't think either is likely to get played. Take Rook Turret on that pack. Red Mage's Rapier there, and we'll see what we get in pack number 2. We are light enough on every non-black color here that our secondary color is still kind of up in the air. Could be almost anything. I don't remember seeing a lot of good green. And we started with Delivery Moogle and still managed to not take a white card for the rest of the draft, so I think white is probably the most cut color. Green is probably a little bit cut as well. Obviously, I wasn't looking for green as much as I was looking for white, so there was probably more green than white, but it feels like there was definitely not a good spot to be in white here. And then even red, like after the Captain Lannery Storm that we took, like pick 3 or something, we didn't find another like particularly good red spell for quite a while, so this could be blue-black here. Blue did seem to be the color we saw the most good stuff in outside of black with those late revelations. So pack 2, pick 1. We have Gaius Van Baelsar as the most consistent black spell. Darkness Crystal is pretty narrow. You have to be in a really long game, but it can win those games. We'll take the Darkness Crystal here. I haven't played it too many times. I always find it a bit too slow for my tastes, but we can try it out here. It should be fun at the very least. This is quite a mediocre pack here. The Scout, Sabatender, Ramen, Commune. All these cards at the bottom of the pack here are not cards I'm interested in, but we have some okay uncommons. We got Ring of the Lucy, Quistis, Snow. Go for the Quistis here. Black Mage's Rod. We're a pretty good deck for that. So there's also a blue-black dual land. Retrieve the Esper is okay. It's only exciting when you are in blue-red and you want to cast a bunch of non-creature spells for mana value 4 or greater. I'll just take the Black Mage's Rod. Pick number 4, a second Darkness Crystal. I'm definitely taking Sephiroth's Intervention over that. It's also legendary, so technically duplicates could be a little cumbersome. Pick number 5, another Black Mage's Rod. This could be fun. We could be all the Black Mages in this deck. Just all the ping damage over time. Pick number 6, very mediocre pack. I don't think I'm particularly likely to play anything in here, but maybe we do end up in the red-black all Wizards deck. We can use the Mycetian Elder pretty well there. Like, I highly doubt we'll end up playing double Rook Turret even if we're in blue. The first is already super mid. Yeah, it's the Elder, or maybe even the Sandworm over Elder, just for beef, but I'll take Mycetian Elder there. Pick number 7. Yeah, there's the black-red signpost uncommon for the all Black Mages deck. Ping your opponent a bunch. It's not great. It's a 2/2 for 4, so it's very, very fragile. Really easy to get domed by 1 mana removal, like a Thunder Magic or something. So it's got issues, but if we do go black-red, it is kind of exactly what our black-red deck is trying to do right now. And then that makes Warrior Sword go up in value because we have all these cards that care about specifically non-creatures, so it's a creature we can run that pings with all of our wizards. That or the speculative blue-red fixing, which would be reasonable to play around with the Grixis color trio. But I'll take Warrior Sword. Lionheart as well was a perfectly fine card that I should mention. What do we got here? I have 3 2-mana creatures. I think I can take another rat. Got a little bit of a chunk at 4. I don't think I need another Warrior Sword that highly. Pick 10, take the ring. Pick 11, blue-black duel. Pick 12, second darkness crystal. Okay. It is nice to see I'm not alone in thinking that card is not great. But I might still run it for funds. Okay. Pack 3, pick 1. We got Queen Brawn to spit out a bunch of black mages. We got Vane's Treachery for more removal. I think we want removal super, super highly for a double Darkness Crystal deck if we do try to run both of these. And just in general, we need removal more than like anything else. Just play a bunch of little mages and then blow up all of our opponent's scary threats. That is the archetype. Let's grab the Treachery. Pick 2 now. Hecdize is fine. Really nice with the Treachery. Would be pretty difficult to get Sin in here. I mean, I guess I've got a couple treasures. We have the Namazu Trader. We have the Vaughn making treasures. Not really enough to try to splash in green and blue. I've got a world map too. Would be interesting, but I think we have the Darkness Crystals as our finishers, sort of. Pretty mid finishers, but they are finishers nonetheless. Let's grab a Hecdize here. Okay, pack 3, pick 3. A second Hecdize looks reasonable. Or a third Diorat, I guess. Seath is kind of rough. Even in my best Seath decks, the fact that this comes back tapped has always been a major downside. Just grab a Hecdize. A second Captain Lannery, come on in. Your second Vaughn if you're feeling fancy. Taking it over Resentful Revelation, which is slightly sad, but I think worth it. Pack 3, pick 5. Well, there we go. Third Revelation, actually. Grab that. This really makes sure that we shouldn't run out of gas at any point, because the flashback in the late game. We also pick the best card in the top 3, so usually it's going to mill a land or 2 to find a spell every time. Pretty solid stuff. This pack's pretty bad. Limit Break is kind of cute with double Hecdize. Doesn't work super great with anything else we have. Like, it's really bad with tokens. But, I mean, Shinra Reinforcements gain a little bit of life. Yeah, there's no cards in this deck that are, like, really important to not mill, especially with duplicates of the Darkness Crystal. So we could do Shinra Reinforcements even without Graveyard Recursion. Here's another Warrior Sword. Come on in. Another Resentful Revelation. It's a pretty perfect Revelation deck. We only got the 4 removal spells, sadly. That is the big issue here. I may want to splash in a Quistis just for like one more potential removal spell here. We have 2 Vaughns making treasures. 4 Revelation. Can we try to win with Laboratory Maniac with 4 Resentful Revelation? How stupid do I want to get with this deck? How stupid do I want to get? Guess these rats are more treasures potentially for that blue splash too. 4 Revelation, 1 Reinforcements for self-mill. Fang draws an extra card every time that we flash back a Resentful Revelation. We've got 4 copies of it, but that requires getting a Fang on the board and having 7 mana up to flashback. Fang still feels like she's probably not quite worth it. Okay, this is going to be interesting. We could run like a Trino, and we have a bunch of random incidental treasure to just run like a one of Quistis or something for more removal. And then if we want to be a complete doofus, we can throw a Laboratory Maniac in here too, but I don't think we're quite excited about that. If I had like 2 or 3 Shinra reinforcements as well as the playset of Revelation, that could be pretty cool. But we're getting a lot of random early damage in here. Yeah, I think we have a decent enough non-self-mill plan to win the game. Still not really pumped about the Warrior Swords. I think these are our worst cards, but still leaves one more cut to go. Quadruple Revelation deck can probably cut a land. Any hand that has Revelation in it can turn that into another land if there's one in the top 3. We got a lot of treasures sitting around, and our curve doesn't go very high outside of the crystal activations. Okay. Yeah, I'll cut a land here. This is an interesting deck. This is very different from most Rakdos decks that we've drafted before. The Darkness Crystal finisher type stuff here. A little bit less like good aggressive creatures instead. Strange stuff. Let's see. 9 black, 5 red, 3 blue. I really only need like 2 blue. I mean, all the treasures I potentially have. I'd be surprised if we don't play a single island, honestly. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll with treasures. 10-6. We've got 4 black spells, or sorry, 4 red spells in the deck. Sure. 10-6 splits between black and red, and we have 1 incidental blue source thanks to having a blue-black dual land. We will call it a deck here. Hop into the gameplay and see how well the Darkness Crystals can finish some games off for us. Alright. Solid start here for game 1. We have double Heck Dies, Resentful Revelations to dig for some interaction. We have the Darkness Crystal on 4. We do need to draw another black source. We've actually drawn 2 red, 1 black, but there are 9 more black sources in the deck now to draw into, and of course the Revelation, worst case scenario, can dig for the second swamp. We lead off with a swamp, and they've got a blue-white dual land. Do I want to rev first? I don't really need the 1/1 on board until they play some creatures. Let's actually just rev first. Find a Shinra Reinforcements or Captain Lannery. Let's drop Captain Lannery here. We could also have picked up the swamp to hardcast Darkness Crystal without treasures, but Lannery's going to hit them for some damage and give us the second black we need for the crystal. So that feels a little better. Dwarven Castle Guard. Well, so much for that. Lannery's not attacking that well. We draw the second black source anyway. Now we're fine to Heck Dies, and it's a fine blocker for Castle Guard. We trade into it. They get their 1/1 token, but we got them to discard a card, so we both got like a second card worth of value from our creature. I am 1 turn away from playing the Darkness Crystal. We could hold off here. If they do attack with Castle Guard, just not take the trade. They don't, though. So here's Darkness Crystal. And pass. Darkness Crystal, pretty awkward against tokens. It doesn't do anything against token creatures, so their hero token with a Paladin's Arms on it is going to be solid here. There's a Zac. But if Zac dies, Zac goes under the Darkness Crystal, so even if they use Zac to save somebody else, we'll get some value. Vane's Treachery is the draw. That is a great one here. It's really cheap thanks to the crystal, too. So could play the Captain and the Treachery. Feels pretty good. Honestly, I think with a Darkness Crystal on board, every trade is so good for us that I even just plunge in this trade and hold on to Treachery. Because now we got Treachery with a treasure token for it. But yeah, it's like the Castle Guard's exiled. They don't get a 1/1 back. And then I get to plop down a Castle Guard with some counters on it later. The only flaw with taking this trade is... well, if they sack Zac, that's going to be horrific for them. The only flaw with taking this trade is if they have a way to blow up the Darkness Crystal. Then it's not that good. Okay, well, we've got a Zac in the Darkness Crystal, and we've got a Castle Guard in the Darkness Crystal then. Delicious. Good food for the crystal. Take 3. Man, the incidental life gain from the crystal, too, is kind of big. We're still at 18 after taking 6. How many counters do they come with? 2 additional counters. So a Zac Fair with 2 additional counters on it? That's pretty gross. Thanks to the treasure, I can play Heck Dies and activate the crystal. Dang, they still had more lands to ditch. Alright, so Crystal can spit out a Castle Guard that's big enough to trade into the Fat Chocobo. Unless they move the Paladin's arms around, and if they do that, it'll still be big enough. If I throw a 1/1 alongside it. That's why we got all these Heck Dies hanging out. Oh, it's tapped. Okay, well then we'll do this block. That is definitely good to learn in game number 1. Alright, take some damage here. Fat Chocobo will sack itself soon enough. And when that happens, we will get the Fat Chocobo underneath the Darkness Crystal. So now we play a Zac and sack a Zac. It feels good. Basically, all I need to do is survive a couple more turns. If we get the Fat Chocobo under the crystal, we pretty much win, but this is a lot of damage right now. What can Vanille get back? Just lands right now? Yeah, we've exiled all their creatures. Cool. So Zac is like an actually relevant activation here, even if he comes in tapped, because I can move all of the counters immediately and have a 4/4 Heck Dies against the Chocobo token. Slash Light the Castle Guard, sure, still get a 1/1. So I will not be dead. Let's make a 4/4 token or Heck Dies. We'll go Heck Dies because they are in blue, so if they bounce the token, if they bounce the Heck Dies, I should say, it is not as bad. Chocobo sacks itself next turn anyway, but it will give the whole board trample again next turn, which is pretty painful. Yeah, let's actually eat the Fat Chocobo. Because we get another block or 2 for putting that out this turn. Find a Sephiroth's Intervention. So now they don't have trample. We have 3 blockers up, a 4/4/1 and a 2/2 Chocobo. I could intervention of Vanille and Vanille back like a Quistis for another intervention. I'm pretty happy with our drafts these last couple days. The black-white draft yesterday into this one, because I'm getting to play a bunch of cards that I don't respect and actually make them work pretty well. So definitely changing my opinion on these cards a little bit. 6 life here. Sephiroth's Intervention makes any attacks relatively safe. We'll go for it. Have their life total, they're down to 10. Another fat Chocobo, give the whole board trample is going to be good. I do not have the mana to intervention and activate Crystal immediately. Oh, it doesn't give trample till next turn. Alright, well then never mind. We can just intervention the Chocobo before it even gives the board trample, and our opponent is in Nightmare World of pain and defeat. And there's a concession from our opponent. That is 1-0. Turns out the Darkness Crystal can win games. I mean, we knew that. It's just that you have to be in a decent enough spot to be able to spend a bunch of mana not impacting the board for a turn. And then you have to get like trades afterwards. It's a little narrow, a little specific, but in that kind of position like the one we had in that game, it really takes over. And that is 1-0 heading to game 2. All right, here we are for game 2. This is a very black magey hand. We've got a 0-1 Black Wizard token with Cornered by Black Mages on 3, and then we have Black Waltz themselves on 4. See, I know I only needed 1 blue source. We'll just draw Trino every single game. Let's go Quistis. We don't have a Quistis in the opener, but, you know. If we draw our Red Mage's Rapier starts our opponent off. Let's Revelation. Finding Revelation, sure. Cornered by Black Mages is going to kill that 1/1 hero. No non-creature spell this turn. No 3-mana equipment for them. Ooh. They have no 3-mana or less creatures in their hand. 5 cards. They probably have like some kind of 3-mana or less removal then. Just blow up the Lannery before I attack. I think I'm just going to play the Cornered by Black Mages here. The biggest argument against playing Lannery is that they probably, because they don't have 3-mana or less creatures, they probably have 3-mana or less removal. As you can tell, it was holding for them at that point, so they do have something instant speed that costs 3 or less. So playing around like Thunder Magic and stuff, still getting value this turn, feels worth it. And now, I'm fine to send Lannery in if I want. Trade up into the 4/3. Or I can send in the Katana here, or I could play the Black Waltz before I play more non-creatures. Let's just play the Black Waltz here. Although, that removal's probably shooting the Black Waltz now. White or a sight, different removal, but sure. So I imagine they also have Thunder Magic or Slash of Light or something, which I'm sure we'll see soon enough. There's the Darkness Crystal. Play that and still have Treachery up at 15 here. They have only tokens so far. I kind of want to like play Darkness Crystal and Treachery somebody in the same turn soon. So what if I go Vaughn, attack, use the treasure on Katana to have Katana up as a blocker? What about that idea? Unless they want a Thunder Magic pre-combat. Nope, alright. Just play some creatures here to work on trading into the Warrior Sword. Another White Aura Sight. Gets Captain Lannery. Snap Trade. 2 cards in their hand. Coral Sword, sure. So they've got 1 card left in their hand. Worst case scenario, I can Treachery this 5/3. But we still really want them to just play a non-token creature. Crystal and Revelation for 1, still have Treachery for 1. Grab another treachery so we can blow up their next creature too. Alright. So now we can kill the 5/3 and still expect to kill a non-token whenever they find one. Beautiful. We've got enough artifacts for that cat too. Oh, I guess we won't because I have to sack one to treachery. Dang it. If I draw one more artifact, then we'll have enough. It's still going to be a 3/5 Flying Vigilance. That's going to be kind of gnarly regardless. It just turns into a 5/5 if I find another artifact. We got our, like, treasure-making rats and our second Lannery. Yeah, this Galacat's still going to be really good on our board. One mana Revelation. Finds Quistis. Namazu Trader is interesting as well. Makes the cat a 5/5. Quistis has got to be better though. Cornered by Black Mages off Quistis. Yeah, that's going to be really good. Quistis cornered by Black Mages here. And then we've got a Prompto underneath the Darkness Crystal as well. Gain some more life. Darkness Crystal and Chill today, my lord. I guess I should Hectize their last card in hand. Combat Trick. Suplex the crystal, we'll get the last creature out, and they are dead next turn. And that is game. Alright, really good stuff that game. That looked like it could have ended up being an awkward mashup if our cards lined up a little differently. They had 3 different ways to blow up the Darkness Crystal. They had 2 white aura sites that can exile any non-land permanent, that includes artifacts, and they had the Suplex that can exile artifacts, so if things lined up a little differently and we didn't have other cards that kind of drew that removal out, we could not have pulled that off in the endgame like we did. The other thing awkward about the matchup, of course, being the multiple token-based creatures that don't get exiled into the crystals, so pretty lucky stuff there. That was definitely a matchup where some of the downsides of Dark Crystal could have come to bite us, but still worked excellently. That is 2-0 heading into Game 3. Here we are on the play for game number 3. Another solid opener here. We'll lead with the Dire Rat as a card we actively want to trade off and get some treasure. There's Big Appa. Appa's cool. Black-green dual land for our opponent, starting them off. Into Adventurers Inn, the colorless land. We find a cornered by Black Mages, but obviously don't need to use that on the empty board, so let's just Revelation. Save Hectize for a little later, grab a Vane's Treachery. Swamp, so just green-black from our opponent so far. Cornered by Black Mages, the Dire Rat, fair enough. I'm not throwing any removal at an 0-1. So just lead with the Darkness Crystal here. I'm gonna lead with Black Waltz. Leading with the Darkness Crystal does give me cost reduction on all my stuff in the future, but if we can like play Darkness Crystal and exile something the same turn, that's going to be quite valuable. They just intervention the Waltz. Alright, well, now I don't have much of another line, but just Crystal Heck dies. And hope their green deck does not have artifact removal. I think the most likely way they could have to blow up an artifact in their color pair is the Colosseum Behemoth, the 7 mana, 7/7. When it enters, destroy an artifact or enchantment. That could be really gross against us. Because we don't really have the pressure to force them to do anything till then. So if they just play no creatures till like turn 7, and then it's the Behemoth that blows up the crystal, our crystal's done functionally nothing at that point. And awkwardly, yet again, a ton of tokens here. It's Revelation again. Trader or Quistis. I think I'm gonna go Quistis. It's pretty close though, because a 3/4 body's pretty solid on this board. Could Quistis their greens to stop their flashback. Summon Fat Chocobo. Oh boy, am I happy to see that. I am monumentally happy to see that. Just make sure we get at least some Darkness Crystal value before they potentially blow it up. It is instant speed. We'll pass here. Pretend we have Sephiroth's intervention or something. Wanderings, ramp up, get a +1/+1 counter. Pretty happy to see that main phased. That means they're not going to be able to sneak kill my 2/2 Chocobo token. Because I can just block whichever one they didn't put the counter on. It's probably best for them to put it on the wizard. Well, no, if they put it on the wizard, I just trade with the Chocobo. If they put it on the Chocobo, I still just trade with the Chocobo, but I take more damage. So yeah, just put it on the thick Chocobo. Make a thick Chocobo. Alright, well. Chocobo token for Chocobo token. This Fat Chocobo is still going to sack itself when it gets to the end of its chapters, so I wouldn't mind too much. If it draws removal from our opponent, yeah, that's fine. Black Mage's Rod. Just start spamming some Black Mages now. Kind of want to go Quistis into Cornered by Black Mages. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That includes casting a black spell from opponent's graveyard because it's still a black spell. As far as I know, this should work. Yeah. I could definitely see an argument for holding off with Quistis because we don't have any targeted removal here. So if they play another non-token creature, we would love to have a way to blow it up. Put it under the crystal. In which case the play is just like Rod and Rat. I mean, I could go Rod, Rat, and Black Mages still. Just cast the one from my hand. Vanille is the play. And Vanille picks up the fat Chocobo. Please attack with the 4/3. So we trade into it, and then we Vanille back our Quistis. We don't Vanille back our Quistis immediately. We don't have enough mana for that, but we will be able to soon. Lunatic Pandora can blow up the Darkness Crystal. God dang it. That's why we have two. We got another Revelations here, so we can dig for it. I can play Rat. How much is this to equip? This is 3 to equip. I could play Rat, equip, and play Black Mages, or I could just play Rat, don't equip. They're not going to have haste here, so I don't need the Rat on the board right now. I could equip the Rod to this to get the double ping. They're at 22. The extra 1 damage is probably not that important. Yeah, let's just not equip the Rod. Let's Revelation first, so that if it changes what we want to do, we have as much mana untapped as possible. Treachery or Lannery. Concorded by Black Mage's Lannery and attack. Actually want to go Lannery here because I want to try to put pressure on them outside of the crystal now that they have a way to blow up the crystal. And if they do blow up the crystal, that costs their whole turn. So we get another Lannery swing next turn with 2 treasures to crack. Yeah, so now, because they see life total pressure, they're inclined to produce blockers, and by producing blockers, they're not blowing up the crystal yet. And we can get Vanille value. I think they should have just bit the bullet and still blown up the crystal. But even if that was the play here, I think getting the Lannery and just pushing damage while they're spending time blowing up the crystal would be great. But yeah, now it's just excellent if they don't blow up the crystal because we did that. Because now we Vanille back our Quistis. And that is absolutely filthy. Okay. Diret. Actually Lannery just runs into the token now. Bartz and Boko, that's huge. They have 6 power worth of birds on the board. So they just blow up anything. Yeah, blow up the Lannery. This does mean they're not dealing with the Darkness Crystal yet. But I don't have... There's not going to be efficient enough removal to use Quistis and the Darkness Crystal in the same turn. I've got 6, 7, 8 mana, 9 mana. I would need 10 mana because it's 3 for Quistis, 1 for like a Veins Treachery, and 6 to activate the crystal. I guess I could chump with the... If I chump with the Dire Rat and then also top deck a land, that's where I theoretically activate the Darkness Crystal before they blow it up. I wonder what they're waiting on. They just have Pandora on board, right? Yeah, they have no cards in hand. It's just the surveillability on Pandora. I was curious. I'm like, wait, is there a way to push extra damage here or something? No. So we can Quistis for, yeah, a Treachery for 1 mana removal, but that's still too expensive. 1, 2, 3. 1 there. If I sack the rat to the Treachery, I can get the insta value. Correct? 3 mana. The 1 mana for Treachery is used with the treasure token, which then means that I have 5 untapped lands and another treasure. Yes, let's do that. Let's Treachery sack the rat here. Because Treachery only costs 1 because of the crystal. Sacking the rat gives me the second treasure to have 6 mana. We get the extra Chocobo token permanently and the 6/6/1 for a little while. Beautiful stuff. And I can confidently say we're in the aggressive lead now, so I'm just running Vanille in here. They don't have Trample on their board anymore. We have multiple 0/1 chump blockers if we need them. 2 2s to trade into their Chocobo. Cornered by Black Mages. Well, there goes one of the 0/1s. I think our opponent just might not realize they can blow up the Darkness Crystal. Yeah, it destroys any non-land permanent. They could blow up the Darkness Crystal, but... they just keep going for the creatures instead, which is really not panning out well for them. Because the Darkness Crystal is one of those cards where the lead that it provides you just gets more and more commanding. Yeah, they're just going to scoop them up now. 3-0 it is. All 3 wins have been Darkness Crystal wins, but that kind of is the finisher in this deck. It's 2 copies of the Darkness Crystal. So it makes sense, but also it's impressive. Really good work from the Darkness Crystal so far. A card that is a bit finicky. I don't love it. It's one of the lower win rate rares in the entire format because of how finicky and like specific your position has to be for it, but we've gotten really lucky with the board states we've been in for this card. I am sure at some point in this draft we will finally get to show off some of the downsides of it. Just get like curved out and beaten down, draw Darkness Crystal with no creatures on board and be like, well, I'm dead. Something like that's going to happen, but so far so good. I mean, this has been a really consistent synergistic deck for using it. All the revelations to dig really far towards it. Plenty of creatures to trade off and a little bit of removal to try to use with it. It's just been firing on all cylinders so far, so very lucky draft. 3-0 heading into game number 4. Here we are for game 4 on the draw. Double Black Mage's Rod, Vane's Treachery for early removal, and of course, one of our Darkness Crystals as the finisher. Try to do everything in our power to hold on to a Treachery for once the crystal is on the board. Sporos again. As we said before, this is kind of a sketchy matchup for us. They have a lot of token creatures. Oh, draw the second Darkness Crystal. It could be rough. But the other thing about the matchup is, yes, they have a lot of token creatures, but they also have White Auracite and Suplex potentially. for main deckable cards and their colors that would blow up the Darkness Crystal, so maybe the second Darkness Crystal won't just be a complete mulligan here. I mean, if it is, this would be a solid mulligan to 6, regardless, so... Alright, I don't think I can wait for the Ash to get a trigger here. I'm gonna have to just pre-Darkness Crystal kill that Ash, sadly. Because otherwise they draw at least one card, more likely than not, looking 5 cards deep for an artifact. And now we've drawn the Quistis for Quistis Veins Treachery to work with the crystal. So we're going to drop the crystal here, and then we go Quistis Treachery the Giot. Sure, yeah, there's Dragoon's Lance. That's a token creature, so we don't care about that one. Play the Crystal Pass. Take 4. Take 6 if they equip the staff onto Giot, but that means not playing another creature. Alright, take 6 it is. Oh, I don't have the blue for Quistis yet. What am I on about? I'm so used to consistently having it. We gotta wait for our treasure from Dire Rat here. Which we should be able to get pretty easily. Chump with it here. I guess the big issue now is because they had a double striker now to go with the Lance. That's gonna be rough. I think we've still played it out right. It's just my brain was being dumb thinking I could Quistis back the Treachery. I don't think we could not Treachery the Ash to prevent the card draw. That was just a must-do play. If they attack both here without doing anything, if they have any combat trick or burn spell in the whole set, Giot just wipes the board. Okay. If they don't have anything in hand, yeah, their best play is just equip Giot and go for it. Try to get like a 2-turn kill here. Come on, Revelation. We need a goodie. We needs a goodie. Gotta kill Giot. None of that kills Giot. A little bit of life gain or the treasure token for Quistis. If I get the treasure for Quistis, though, I take a damage, go to 7. We're dead to any combat trick in the set. I'm still dead to any combat trick in the set playing reinforcements, right? Because I'll be at 11 life, but if they have like the +2/+2, I guess if they have the +2/+2, that's only 10 damage. Oh. Still feels like our best bet by far is just hoping they don't have a trick here. Trader's the only way to make sure we can cast removal next turn. Alright, well. Do not kill me, please. I beg. No buff on Giot. They could also play, like, any equipment in the set. Crush me with that, too. Could have pushed 3 with the rat, but if they throw any extra haste damage out here, having more options for blockers is good. I suppose if they throw any haste damage out, though, I've got the 4 toughness blocker, the 3/4. But rat's like a card we actively want to die. More treasure's still good here. Oh. Alright, we're super dead. Delivery Moogle for another flyer. I mean, I'll be at 3 life after killing one of their creatures. 3 life is not enough to survive the Delivery Moogle, even without moving equipment around, and they can just move equipment around. I don't know why on earth they would, but maybe they'll trade with a Dire Rat. Alright. That's game. We just kill Giat. And die to Moogle. Well, we saw multiple downsides of Darkness Crystal there, finally. When you're getting beat down, and you don't have a way to blow up the creature, it just sits there doing nothing. Like against an evasive threat where we can't trade off. You do really need to be able to trade off and get things popping into the crystal. This Darkness Crystal did literally nothing this game, sadly. Downside of our mana base as well. If we found the Quistis mana like a turn sooner, we might have been able to live. Because then we wouldn't have taken... Yeah, if we found it one turn sooner, then we would have taken 6 less damage. We would be at 7 life against Delivery Moogle. Which is enough time to try to dig a little farther, like recasting Revelation or something instead this turn. So, mana base hurting us a little bit there, but also some of the downsides of Darkness Crystal. The second Darkness Crystal, because of the Legend Rule just being a complete mulligan. Even if the Legend Rule didn't exist, the second Darkness Crystal is kind of irrelevant. So, alright. First loss of the day, 3-1 it is, heading into game number 5. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 5. Solid opening hand, Dire Rat into Captain Lannery, get a bunch of treasures out. And we're just going to play to the board here, overplaying Revelation. Black-red mirror match for now. They've played Vector, Imperial Capital. Grixis stuff. Nice controlly trio. So they probably kill this Lannery with a Syncopate or a Treachery or a Thunder Magic. A bajillion options. But we've got a second. Okay, they're not going to kill Lannery. Very nice. Good work, Vaughn. They have a T-Rex. Oh, okay. The plot twist. They aren't Grixis. Control their 5-color. The T-Rex are forest cycling, and now they have green, blue, black, and red mana on board. The only color they're missing is white, and they aren't necessarily playing white. Man, if Lannery weren't legendary, the duplicates would go real hard together. That's kind of fun. I should pre-combat crack a treasure, right? Yeah, because if I do it during combat, then I'm not getting use of the mana. And if I do it after combat, then I'm not getting the extra power. Yeah, we'll hack dice them too. Fire magic for 2, sure. That card is very good. It wasn't even like a nightmare against us there. It essentially just killed a Lannery and a rat. Rat already had a death trigger, Hekdai's already had an enter trigger. Darkness Crystal is the draw. I got the Ignis to ramp up, send in the Trader. I'm gonna actually hold on to this treasure over playing Revelation right now, so we have our 1 of blue source if we hit our Quistis. Summon Fat Chocobo. Wow, if we find any removal for that, that's going to be so good for us. What do you got, Revelation? Bunch of rats. What the heck? Oops. I need to do that after I play after I play the Lannery. We want to do that the other way. Well, I guess because the cost reduction, we can just do this regardless. Probably just trade into the Chocobo here, get more treasure at the ready. Yep. Get the trampling 3-2 out of here. Ignis gets our revelation. That's gross. Play the Bard's Bow. They can move to the Chocobo. There's the Quistis. Quistis kind of sucks right now. We've drawn no spells. I mean, we had one revelation, but we didn't draw any removal this game. We can use a fire magic. Fire magic for 2, get their Ignis. Kill our dire rats. Is this really Quistis fire magic for 2? I guess. Fat Chocobo is going to sack itself next turn and fall into the Darkness Crystal. There's a T-Rexar. We just find a land. Things aren't going great, but they aren't going horrifically. We could stabilize. Slowly but surely. I mean, yeah, that's an 8-8 trample. It's going to make it difficult for sure. But here's 8 power and toughness. If I attack with just Fat Chocobo and then I get Ignis, they should be dead in 2 swings. What if I just attack with a 3-2? They have to... I'm at 9 life. They need removal and a buff to kill me. If I try to send all and get a 2-turn kill here. But I mean, even just a 3-2, if they hold the T-Rex or off block, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 4, 10. It's not quite lethal. I feel like the risk is too high. I don't know why, but that's just my feeling. It's my gut. They drew the removal, so they overkill. Yep. And that's awful. Here's the Ignis. Come on, any non-land. Okay. It's their last card in hand here. Alright, it's just a forest. Five life. I have to jump with Ignis. Ignis can make a food. But that requires tapping Ignis as well. Oh man. Could have won if we just didn't block the T-Rex at all. There's no way to live that doesn't involve not attacking with Ignis. I could block with Hectize instead of Ignis and make a food and eat it. Go to 1 here. I really feel like this is going to come down to if I can... Because I didn't get the kill through the overkill, which was a possibility if I played around instant speed removal instead of like a combat trick. Now it's just going to come down to like, am I going to draw 1 removal spell this game? I am, but it's not big enough by itself. So if they top deck a spell, I'm dead. I think I need to not attack, so if they hit removal... If I attack with the Chocobo and then they hit removal, they kill Ignis and I'm dead no matter what. But if they hit removal, kill Ignis, I block and still 2-2 versus 2-2 there. With Treachery. Oh, they're looking at their land, so they hit a spell. Oh my lord. I mean, I'm gonna have an 8-8 of my own, but theirs is gonna be a 10-10. Because of their equipment. No, I have to chomp! Oh my god! This is the worst game of Magic. We had a win like 4 turns ago if I played around removal. Oh, it's depressing. No shot, dude. Okay. Well, we threw. What can you say? It wasn't on-board tricks or anything. There are cards that would have killed us. There are cards that would have killed us if we didn't block, so... Like, it was certainly more likely they just had 1 instant speed removal spell, but I didn't think that through. So we made the wrong play with the information we had at the time, because it was more likely to just be like 1 instant speed removal spell like that than anything else. But you can't say that it was just like a punt, because there's a possibility, it's hidden information. There's a possibility it's something like Blitzball Shot in their hand, or just anything that does 1 damage to us. To where like if we just don't block there, we mega lose. Well, not mega lose, but literally lose instead of getting to a behind board state where I still have like 6 extra turns to try to top deck into something like we did there. Yeah, the alternative if we don't block and they do have some way to do 1 extra point of damage is that I don't get a single extra turn that game to try to do anything. Whereas not playing around the overkill, instead playing around like an extra point of damage, worst case scenario, we don't die on the spot. We still have extra draw steps to maybe flip it. So again, it's not like strictly a punt or anything, but something like Overkill or Sephiroth's Intervention, like 1-for-1 removal like that was certainly more likely than something to deal 1 extra point of damage to me. But because we only needed to take a single extra point of damage, the list of cards that could do that's actually somewhat high. It doesn't have to be some weird combat trick like Blitzball Shot. It could be some weird creature that like enters and pings for 1. All right, well, that was obviously quite a bummer. A very winnable game. We should be 4-1 right now if we made the right plays, but alas, it was not to be. 3-2 it is, heading into game 6. All right, here we are now for game 6. All of our colors right off the bat. Dwarven Castle Guard will start them off. We're not the heck dies against that. We've drawn into one of our Darkness Crystals for our finisher. Gets rid of a white or a sight. Excellent work from Heck Dies. That is very impressive. No blocks. Go to 18. And they play another Castle Guard. Well, sad day for the good old Captain. I think I still run out Captain Lannery. Just don't attack. Summon Chocomog. That is very nice with their current board. But it is also pretty good for us once we get a Darkness Crystal down. If they don't have like a second white aura sight, some other way to blow up this Darkness Crystal, definitely think this can flip the game for us. Because we gain 2 off of every creature dying. The Castle Guards aren't triggering on their death. The Chocomog's going to sack itself and fall into the crystal. Like, I think we lose if they can blow up the crystal, and we win if they can't. And that's pretty much where we're at here. Woo! Up to 13. There's an Adelbert. Cool. So gonna be a mana away from plopping a creature out of it. But this is actually a position where even if they blow it up now, it managed to gain us 4 life and prevent them from getting 2 more 1/1 tokens. So it certainly put in work. Alright, opponent is stuck on triple planes. They're having a terrible time, and now we can just start activating the crystal. There's a cat. Flying threat. Certainly a little scary. Nothing engraved to kill this cat. So we can't Quistis it, we have to Treachery it. Could Treachery for 1 if I sack something. So Treachery for 1, sack the Rod. Feels like the play. That way I still have 6 to activate the crystal this turn. There's an argument to do it while they're tapped out as well, because they could have the hexproof trick, but I can just take the 1 for now and wait till their end step. Zach Fair cannot save something from a Treachery. We make a 3/5 Flying Vigilance with the crystal. Our opponent's very bad time is graduating to an awful time. They're still on 3 planes while we have 8 lands on board now. Fine with trading the Castle Guard into Zach. Now we've got a Zach under the Darkness Crystal, where we can throw a bajillion counters onto something else. Can even spit him out at instant speed, which to save everyone else. Not everyone else, but specifically the cat. Well, I mean, their choice to discard the white aura site has definitely panned out correctly for them. They've drawn no lands in so many turns, stuck on triple planes here. Yeah, that was a really rough game for our opponent. But we get a fourth win, I guess. That'll be 4-2 now, heading into game number 7 with a positive win rate with a double Darkness Crystal deck no matter what. Had we played perfectly, we'd be at 5 wins here. Even if I haven't found the right lines at all times, I will say the deck's been kind of sweet. Definitely an overperformer, as I am not the biggest fan of the Darkness Crystal. All right, here we are on the play for game number 7. We'll lead with the Dire Rat so we could maybe get a treasure towards playing Lannery. Playing against blue-whites. There's Resentful Revelations as well to dig for mana. I think I need 2 Revelations here. Not only do I need the mana for Lannery, but I need it for the Darkness Crystal. None of that is mana. Just grab another Revelations. It does have Flashback, but it has really expensive Flashback, being able to cast it for 2 and try to find the land next turn. If I don't top deck the land here, play Revelation, pick up the land, play Black Mage's Rod. Feels good. Let's say the Darkness Mage's Rod. Okay, let's just resolve the crystal while they're tapped out of potential syncopate stuff. And this is worst case scenario, a bunch of cost reduction on all our black spells. Okay, we've drawn no removal so far. They play a creature token with Thief's Knife. Good card against the Darkness Crystal. There we go. We find a Sephiroth's Intervention. So let's play Resentful Revelation here. No, let's play Black Mage's Rod. So that even if they put the counters onto this Thief's Knife, we're threatening the double block on it. Need them to not just like hit us and draw a bunch of cards, so I do need blockers, and we can't play Lannery, and I definitely don't want to play Quistis. So let's just hold the Thief's Knife off of us. Another one. Stop playing tokens. There we go. There's a cat. That's not a token. Plus they're tapped out. Let's get my treasure for my Lannery. Let's intervention the cat. There's a treachery too. Yeah, play the Lannery, attack, and get the treasure back. I don't love spending the treachery here to make sure I keep Lannery around for more treasures, but when I have the Quistis, I think I can do that. I can afford that. Grab another treachery. They're down to 9. Get some Black Mage and Lannery damage in. Wind Crystal doesn't do anything without any creatures on board. I guess Wind Crystal does double their food token. Yeah, their food gains 6 now. That actually is pretty real. It does do something here. Revelation. A new Lannery? Sure. Feels better than a land. Okay, Minwu plus Wind Crystal. Could try to go real hard. Gain a bunch of life. I got a 4/4 lifelinker down now. Like to Treachery. Quistis. Don't have the mana to like Quistis Intervention. I think I Treachery now. And I keep the Rod, sadly. But Treachery now. So I can use all my mana on whatever next turn. Just gonna be a rat. Weapons Vendor, draw a card and a 1-mana equip from the Thief's Knife. They can play that and a Snow to have 2 blockers here. White Mage's Staff as well. For 1 mana, thanks to Wind Crystals. They just play triple blocker here. Yep. It's a good turn. Let's Quistis the cat away with something. Guess I've got the mana Darkness Crystal out somebody. Our own cat. I gotta whittle down their board when they have a Wind Crystal out, though. I need that to not be gaining a bajillion, so let's Quistis Treachery the cat. They're 5 and I have a Rod. I don't want to sack the Rod. I keep sacking this treasure, just never having the 6 for Darkness Crystal because of it, but this forces them to lose their whole board. Or they take lethal right now. Again, we're just making sure it's as few creatures as possible. Oh. White Mage's Staff does not gain life on blocks, only on attacks, and so we cheese in lethal a turn early there, and that is 5-2 now. All right, we still get a very positive record. We are still very much in the money, even through our second loss being that very winnable game there. Absolutely take those. This has been a really sweet draft. Very cool last couple of drafts. I mean, a little awkward in the sense that they're not like decks that I would be happy with when I'm drafting, and then I end up with the deck and I'm like, you know, it's not like oh, my colors are open and all my favorite cards are showing up and I love this deck and it's going to be awesome. It's the kind of scrap it a bit with some cards I don't like to use as much, that I don't use very often, that I'm like, well, in this draft pot, I think we've got a reasonable deck to try to use these as finishers, and here they are. Darkness Crystals as finishers, and of course yesterday, cards like Aerith's Rescue Mission and Choco-Mog actually put in work. It's been a pretty cool couple of days of draft, even if they may not be 7 winners. They are cool, unique decks. So here we are on the play for game number 8 now. No, game number 8, we're 5-2. No black source in the opener, but any land gets me at least 1 treasure off of Captain Lannery. That might be a little greedy, but I'm hoping Lannery goes the distance for us here. And obviously we're on like 10 swamps, so the odds of just finding a black source naturally by turn 3 are decent enough. And we did start by immediately finding the black source, which is beautiful. I don't mind a rat for Castle Guard just to get the Lannery popping off. Okay, so they don't take the trade. Let's run out of reinforcements then, big enough to stop Castle Guard from doing anything for now. Don't mill a Darkness Crystal, thank you. It milled land, land, land. It did mill our only blue source, so we need to keep that in mind, but this is a treasure-heavy deck, and a treasure-heavy hand. We have Rat, Lannery, and Trader. So we should be fine on that front. Let's Revelation over playing Lannery, because again, Lannery's not getting anywhere on this board. Revelation into Revelation. I don't have the second black to play this next Revelation immediately. So just take a corner by black mages for later. That's not going to be great in this matchup. I think I'm just Revelationing for Revelation. Mono white from our opponent. Play a chunker and pass. We've lost 3 of our black sources. We've milled 3 black sources, so now there's only 6 left out of 23. We do really need to hit a second one. Ideally. Okay, Minwoo's gonna get heckin' killed. Sadly, Minwoo's gonna get killed before Darkness Crystal, neither in the top 18. Yep. Give him a little boop. And pass. Save this treasure. Call the Mountain Choke. Well, it's very good here. Multiple 2/2s, and they are tokens, which is good against our deck. There's another token with White Mage's Staff. There's our second black source. Do we find a crystal now in the top 22? No. Find another Revelation? Do we find a crystal in the top 25? Actually, the board's wide enough now. I don't hate making another blocker here. We'll play a Black Mage's Rod, and then this is also playing another Rod before I play more non-creature spells. Getting some ping damage in. Sack the Eden, pick up the Minwoo, I guess? Yeah. So now we need to Revelation into some way to kill Minwoo. Okay, we find the Darkness Crystal. Minwoo gets 2 triggers immediately, with 2 other clerics on the board. I think I have to Revelation instead of playing the Darkness Crystal, because if they just cast Minwoo, attack with 2 White Mage's Staff creatures, that's 2 4/4s, even if Minwoo dies the turn after. Yeah, I have to Revelation into removal, into like Treachery here instead. Where are they? Where are the Treacheries, though? Well, Hektai is here. I guess I could just take like a Samurai's Katana or something here and just play big enough blockers that when they do the double Minwoo trigger, I just kill both the 4/4s. And it's really just the one big Minwoo after that. But I already have a big enough board to do that because they're tapping most of their mana to do it. So we just play a Darkness Crystal this turn still. I think Samurai's Katana is still the strongest potential pickup here. Lose my one Quistis treasure to play Crystal now. Do it anyway. Get that set up. We could just block in a way to make sure Dire Rat dies. No, I don't think that's worth it, because we could just lose just 1-for-1 trade in these cards. Do we have one of our two treacheries in the top 30 cards of our deck? If the answer is yes, we steal their Minwoo and win. And if the answer is no, we die. Because then Minwoo puts 2 staffs on it and attacks as like a 9/9 at that point. Yeah, 7/7, 2 immediate triggers, 9/9 lifelink, gain 9, go to 10/10. Yeah, it's straight up just treachery or bust. Oh my god. We bust. Jump with Dire Rat, play Quistis and Sephiroth's Intervention the Minwoo at this point. The removal's just so low in the deck, though, that we'll probably mill out if they're gaining... They're gaining like 12 life this turn. Oh yeah, they can spread the staffs out. It was actually just straight up treachery or bust, because the counters go onto the other creatures too here. That's gnarly. We knocked them down to just the Chocobo, but it's a 7/7 Chocobo without even playing a land. 6/6 Chocobo without even playing a land. Eight mana. I can literally only play Quistis and Intervention. I'm 1 mana away from doing anything else. I can't like play Vaughn attack, because then they just block with Minwoo and gain a bajillion more. So it is just Quistis Intervention here. Take a bunch from this Chocobo. Play another Call the Mountain Chocobo. Earth Rescue Mission for a bunch of 1/1s. They're all tokens. $18 here. Play a Death Toucher next turn. Don't have enough mana to play that and activate Crystal. Man. Just the one game I wish I put a Laboratory Maniac in here. Maybe we could win with a Laboratory Maniac. I can activate Darkness Crystal and play a Revelation, but then I have 5 cards left. And I'm not flipping the game around that fast. Yeah, I don't think I can cast any more Revelations. So I'm gonna go blockers mode. Light of Judgment on the Katana. Take 7 on the crackback here. The only way to play 2 things is to attack with this Lannery and have no blockers up. So it is what it is. But then a Minwu with a Black Mage's Rod on it. They draw a card off every token dying now. Yikes. Five, 5, lifelink. Vigilant Minwu's big. Six power lifelink here. They got 1 card left in their hand. If it isn't Minwu removal, we might get them with their own Minwu. It's really sad I can't cast any spells here because all my spells mill me. Because every spell ping also gains me 1, which triggers the Minwu and puts another counter on Minwu. Yeah, they have more than enough chumpers, I think, to just keep chumping and drawing until they hit removal, and then we mill out. Believe that's how this game's gonna go. I guess they could try to kill Minwu. Heck Dice is solid. Just the mountain in their hand. 5 cards left. I can't not attack with Minwu, can I? They just block with 2 chocobos. I still haven't drawn either Vein's Treachery. That's really funny. Okay, we need to wait for one of those then. The last 5 cards of the deck are all spells. We have... What? Double Minwu. I think the attack is still bad for them. Because of our Minwu. But I also think we're going to mill out. So I'm not sure how much it matters. Okay, Squall is pretty legit. Both treacheries in the bottom 4. How do they kill Minwu now? 7 toughness? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they can kill it with non-Minwu cards. I can't win because our treacheries are in the bottom 4. This is good, like twice in a row now. They have a resolved Minwu. I need to stop immediately, and I can't. Because this time, if I try to stop it immediately, it's by Revelation and having literally 1 card left in the whole deck. Yeah, there's absolutely no option of killing the Minwu here. So they get to double equip, send it back at us, and then their Minwu's bigger than ours, and it survives treachery because they're too deep in. Yeah, their min was going to be a 7/7 here. Which is exactly one toughness too big. Well, we get a Prompto into the Darkness Crystal. That's actually kind of sweet. Get another card here. Any turn we can kill a non-token creature is a huge turn for us. I'm going to have a 5/5, a 4/4 of my own, I guess. Is it worth losing 2 creatures to kill this? It probably is. We're whittling down this board. They got 13 cards left, though, and they'll draw another off Graha. You know what? No. If it weren't for the Graha draw, I'd probably still take that trade. Okay, there's Treachery. Now I can attack with Minwu at worst. Yep. If they just trump and draw a card. Their Minwu triggers. Wait, no, their Minwu doesn't. Their Graha triggers. 3 cards left in the deck. Another staff! Oh my god, the Minwu triggers. Stop gaining life. Graha is not a May ability, so I can't afford... I really can't afford to take their Graha. Okay, make our Minwu 11 by killing Squall. From Darkness Crystal trigger, which means our Minwu kills theirs. Oh my god. They have too much life. We don't have enough time, but we are coming ahead. What are my last 2 cards? Treachery and a rat. Okay. Should have ran my one-of Laboratory Maniac. Zidane! Well, if they didn't have 5 million life already. Man, I wish this were best of 3. I feel like this is actually a pretty solid matchup for us. We just had twice in a row Minwoo without removal at the right time. But that's how the cookie crumbles there. We probably did like 60 damage to them or something, but they probably did the same to us. Honestly, this game was stupid. Quite the bummer of a way to end it. Where it's like if I had infinite cards in my deck, I would win this, but self-mill losses are the saddest. Maybe if I cast one less Resentful Revelation, maybe there was a chance, but I needed removal really badly in multiple positions here, so if I cast one less Revelation, I would have had removal slower for like one of the Minwoos and probably just died. That is not Laboratory Maniac. We did not run it. Alright. Crazy game of Magic. 6 and 3. No, 5 and 3? That was a really long game, so I don't actually remember if we went to 6 wins or 5 in the end. Just 5. 5 and 3 it is. If we played perfectly, our second loss was definitely winnable. So we could have been 6 and 2 with this deck heading into the final battle. This was a massive overperformer of a deck here. This was a really fun one. Basically every game was Darkness Crystal trying to be the finisher, because it is like the finisher in the deck. We've got the 2 copies of it. That was a really sad way to end it off there. Just both of our treacheries in the literal bottom 4 cards of the entire library. That was pretty brutal. If we hit one of those sooner so that we just had one in time for either of the Minwoos, I think we would have had enough damage to get there before we milled out, but our removal was running for its life. All right. So, yeah, that was the third loss. Second loss was definitely the really winnable one. If we played around instant speed removal instead of playing around some way to put 1 extra damage on the board, like any combat trick or burn spell, then we would have won that one. We would have just lethaled them within a turn or 2. So, that's rough. The first loss, as far as I remember, there wasn't really anything we could do. That final loss, though, was an incredibly long game of Magic, so there's probably somewhere at some point that there were definitely opportunities for different lines, but I'm not sure 100% like with those different lines whether or not we would have won by the end. So, yeah. Not a full 7 win or anything, but a 5-3 is still a great record. That is in the money, a very positive win rate overall, and this was a fun, really unique deck here, just running the double Darkness Crystal finishers there. And yeah, I think if we played perfectly, this deck probably could have gotten the 7 winner. We know for a fact they would have been 6 and 2 at worst, and maybe even the third loss was winnable today. And then even if that third loss wasn't winnable, it'd be 6 and 2 heading into some matchup. We don't know. Maybe it would have been a good matchup, and we would have gotten the full 7, or maybe not. Either way, a great run regardless. Really fun deck. I do want to say, not just saying Darkness Crystal as a pretty big overperformer. I want to talk about one of the unsung heroes here, which is Resentful Revelation. This card is really deceptively good. It's very, very hard to properly evaluate like card draw spells and how much they are impacting your deck, how much they're helping your deck, because their impact is a lot less obvious than when you have like your great removal spell against their great bomb, or when you have your great bomb creature or your like really solid creature on curve. Just the consistency that cards like Resentful Revelation give you is a huge buff to any deck, and it's why it plays as one of Black's best commons in the entire set. Like, this deck is not the greatest. It's got a bunch of kind of dirtily kind of fun cards in it, like Black Waltz, Double Darkness, Crystal, like some Black Mage's Rods and stuff. Like, it's not the most impressive deck ever. There's Namazu Trader and stuff, but it was running quite consistently because of having an entire playset of Resentful Revelation. So I think this was a huge boon to this deck that helped it quite a lot. So I do want to mention that card as well as something to keep your eye out on and definitely draft pretty highly. But another really unique draft here for another 5-win run. We take those. That is going to be 5-3 in the money out of today's draft. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.